Welcome to our CFP Exam Prep podcast. Today we're diving into consumer protection laws, a crucial area that often appears on the CFP exam. Let's break down three major laws that you absolutely need to master. The Fair Credit Reporting Act is your starting point. This law governs how credit reporting agencies handle consumer information. Think of it as the guardian of your credit report. Here's what you need to remember. Consumers have the right to access their credit report once every 12 months from each major credit bureau at no cost. Many candidates miss questions about dispute timeframes. Credit bureaus must investigate and respond to disputes within 30 days, not 60 or 90 as many assume. A common exam trap involves knowing when employers can pull credit reports. They must obtain written permission first, and if they take adverse action based on the report, they must inform the consumer. Moving to the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. This law sets boundaries for debt collectors, and the exam loves testing the specific time restrictions. Debt collectors can only contact consumers between 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. local time. A frequent mistake is confusing this with business hours. The exam might try to trick you with a 7 p.m. call scenario, which is actually perfectly legal. Another key point is that collectors must cease communication if the consumer requests it in writing. However, they can still pursue legal action. The exam often tests scenarios where collectors contact third parties. Remember, they can only contact others to locate the debtor and can't reveal the debt situation. The Truth in Lending Act might be the most complex of the three. It requires lenders to disclose credit terms in a standardized format. The exam frequently tests Regulation Z knowledge, which implements TILA. Focus on the right of rescission period. It's 3 business days for home equity loans and refinancing with a new lender. Many candidates get tripped up on what constitutes a business day. Remember, for right of rescission, all calendar days except Sundays and federal holidays count as business days. Another common mistake involves knowing when the annual percentage rate must be disclosed. It's required for all closed-end credit transactions, but the calculation method varies by loan type. Here's a practical example that often appears on the exam. A client receives a collection call at 7:30 p.m. about a medical debt, and the collector mentions the debt to the client's neighbor. What violations occurred? The timing of the call is legal under FDCPA, but discussing the debt with a neighbor violates the act. This type of scenario tests multiple concepts simultaneously. To master these laws for the exam, focus on timeframes, consumer rights, and specific prohibitions. Create a mental checklist. For FCRA, think access, accuracy, and consent. For FDCPA, remember time, communication, and verification rights. For TILA, focus on disclosure, rescission, and APR requirements. Remembering these laws through real-world applications makes them stick. When studying, connect each regulation to actual client scenarios you've encountered or might encounter in your practice. This approach not only helps with exam success, but also prepares you for real-world application as a financial planner.